Hi everyone, today we're going to be consolidating our knowledge of what we've covered in databases so far. We're going to be doing that by creating a poster. You will be successful in your learning if you can manage to research your chosen topic within databases, if you can identify the key facts and findings from your research and explain these thoroughly, and present your findings in an organised, creative manner on a poster. Okay, now the first thing I want to think about as your starter today is these three different topics that we've covered throughout databases so far. What have you found the most interesting or surprising? Feel free to pause the video and have a little chat with your neighbour about which one you thought was most interesting. So number one is keeping yourself safe online, important rules for when you're using the internet. Number two, big data is as good or bad. There's a lot of kind of conspiracy around this about how storing data about people can be kind of detrimental to them, but in turn we use it a lot, and it can be really useful for us. And then number three, the dangers of social media. So have a little think and think about which one you find the most interesting and you would like to do more research on. Okay, hopefully you've had a little think and come to an agreement. I hope that a lot of you have went for different ones and not all the same. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a poster. Now, if you had the taskbook would tell you this information. So there's a taskbook saved to the pupil share directory that has lots of information in it that's been shared with you throughout lockdown and your work in class. And basically what you're going to do is create a poster on whichever one you found the most interesting. So do you think it's about the rules, keeping yourself safe online is really important? Do you want to do a little bit more research about big data, whether this is good or bad? Or do you want to choose the dangers of social media? And you're going to create a poster. Now you can choose any format for your poster. If you want to make it on a landscape one slide on PowerPoint, you can do that. If you want to do it on Microsoft Publisher, if you want to do it on Page Plus, it's entirely up to you and what package you find in school that you want to use. I would suggest using Publisher rather than Microsoft Word if you do want to use a Microsoft package, just because it's a lot easier to move about text and images and things like that, and to put in shapes and move them about. Again, PowerPoint can be quite good for this as well, but sometimes when you print it off you have a little gap around the outside, so Publisher can be a really good choice. Okay, anyway, when you're thinking about creating your poster, here are some of the things I want you to consider. You need to have a big informative title, so tell us what your poster's about, why it's important, make it clear, make it stand out, use a cool font. Okay, then what we've got is your fact, because it has to be an informative poster. So if you're going to lay out your information, you have to think about how that's going to be clear. If you have huge paragraphs of information, nobody's going to stop and look at a poster and read all of that information. So it's about how do you lay it out so it's kind of chunked. Do you want it in bullet points? Do you want to have it in separate speech bubbles, thought bubbles? You could have it kind of laid out in different kind of boxes. It's entirely up to you, but think cleverly about how you're going to lay out your information, organise your information so it's accessible to people. Okay. Also, your facts, you need to make sure you're getting them right, so you can look back to the task book that you can find in the pupil share directory, or feel free to go online to do some more relevant research about the section that you have chosen. Okay, then you want to make sure you've got pictures. Again, you need to make sure you've got a nice balance of pictures to information and make sure they're relevant to what it is that you're actually discussing. So if you were doing, for example, social media, then you might want to get some of the different logos of social media, or if you're talking about one in particular in different sections, you might want to kind of build that into your overall poster. Then if any of the pictures aren't obvious what they are, you might want to put in labels or wee captions underneath them to explain what they are. You need to make sure that the overall layout and balance of your poster and the use of colour and things is nice and clear. You also have to think about text colour based on background colour, so can you read that nice and effectively? And make sure that somewhere on there, even if it's just small writing at the bottom, you've got your name and your class. Okay, and you're going to save that into your own directory and make it as colourful, as beautiful as we can. And hopefully at the end of the lesson, your teacher will maybe give you 5 minutes to be able to show each other. Now, what I wanted to do just before I let you loose was to show you some examples from some of the other classes last year. Now, unfortunately, these were printed off in black and white, but they are full colour on the computer. But we had to take a picture of them because we only had the paper copies. But this gives you kind of an idea of what people have done in the past. So some people picking big data, some people picking social media, but you can see some of them have paragraphs, they've used different fonts, they've changed the colour up slightly between perhaps headings and the actual text. They've put in these nice little lines to separate things out, make it look really professional. They've not got too many images. The images there are to support the information that's been included. And again, some people making use of things like the speech bubbles to be able to kind of put their information in there. There's also kind of this one, it's not easy to see, but this would have been green versus red to explain that kind of good or bad points for big data and things. So you're looking for something like that. Okay, so you've got the whole period to gather your research and start to put your poster together, and hopefully by the end you've got something you can share with your peers. Before I go, please make sure that before you leave today, you log into your Glow and your Satchel 1 and you have a little look online to check that both your homework and your assessment dates have been published on Satchel 1. And if you cannot see these for some reason, please let your teacher know so they can inform me and I can go in and get this updated for you, okay? You're going to get one homework sheet which is due next week. Please try to hand this in electronically so I can mark it for you and return it to you prior to your assessment. And then your assessment date is in there, which will be in 2 weeks' time. Okay, any questions, feel free to message me directly on Satchel 1, and good luck with your posters. Speak to you later, guys. Bye.